Hey guys, welcome to Meghan Grace DIY. I'm a seamstress with 25 years of experience, and I like to create videos to pass some of my knowledge on to you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a really simple project that once you do it once, you're going to want to do it over and over again. Together, let's create a basic hair scrunchie. I know hair scrunchies have come and gone in the fashion world, but you can create this in a myriad of colors to accentuate your look or to accent a dance or a figure skating look. You can use any type of fabric to create a scrunchie, but I'm using some plain cotton that's 21 inches long and 3 1/4 inches wide. It's important to note that these measurements are just a guideline. They aren't set in stone. If you want a fluffier scrunchie, you can go ahead and make it longer. Start by folding your piece of fabric in half widthwise. This is probably one of the very few projects that I will tell you not to press. I'm going to pin my seam together, and if you want to press it flat, you can. What that's going to do to your scrunchie is give you a hard edge around the outside. So like I said before, if you don't press it, it's going to give you a fluffier look to your scrunchie. Once all your pins are in place, we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam down the entire length of the scrunchie. You can see here that I've got the fabric lined up with the very outside of the presser foot. I'm going to backstitch and do just a regular straight seam all the way down. We don't want a ton of bulk inside of the scrunchie. That's why I'm keeping that seam allowance very small. Now that we've got our seam sewn, we're going to work on flipping the tube inside out. Lots of tips and tricks exist to flip things inside out, which include using a crochet hook or threading through a ribbon with a safety pin at the end. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm just going to work it with my fingers. I basically take my pointer finger and insert it into the tube. I feel it grip the fabric and I pull it inside out. I'm going to keep doing this until my tube is entirely flipped and the printed side is on the outside. With my tube flipped completely inside out, I'm ready to insert my elastic. I'm using approximately 7 inches of elastic, but again, you can adjust that based on your hair thickness. I'm using a large safety pin as my anchor and putting it at the end of the elastic and sliding it through the tube. It's important to take note here that you have far more length of fabric than you do elastic, and that fabric's going to start to bunch up on top of that elastic. So I don't lose my elastic inside of the tube, I'm going to take a straight pin and just anchor it to the end of the fabric. This way, as you move your elastic down through the tube and the fabric scrunches up on top of the elastic, you won't worry about losing the elastic inside the tube and then have to do the whole step over again. Once we've pushed our elastic all the way through and we've got elastic coming out of both ends of the tube, we're going to take that elastic and sew it together. I'm going to attach the elastic together by placing a small zigzag stitch in the very end of the elastic, but you can totally do this step by hand if you're more comfortable doing that. However you attach it, just make sure it's sturdy. You don't want your elastic to snap after you've made your scrunchie. For our last step, you're going to take one end of the tube and fold it under about 1/2 inch, and then tuck the other end of the tube inside the folded end. I make sure my scrunchie isn't twisted by lining up the seam on both ends. Place the unfolded end under the folded end for about 1/2 inch. After this is done, go ahead and thread up a hand sewing needle in a matching colored thread. To attach the two ends of the fabric tube, I'm going to do a sort of modified slip stitch. That's where I'm going to take a small bite of the top layer and then go down underneath the bottom layer so I'm showing as little thread as possible. Now when I say bottom layer, I'm referring to the 3rd layer of fabric. Layers 1 and 2 are the folded edge of the tube, and layer 3 is the unfolded edge of the tube. You're not going to go all the way down through all 6 layers, so going through the back. You're only going to go through the first top 3 layers. Again, the reason for doing this is to keep the scrunchie nice and fluffy and tube-like instead of flattening one part of the tube. I'm going to continue my hand sewing basically in a circle all the way around the scrunchie. So I started at that inside seam. I'm going to stitch across one side, over onto the other side, and meet my stitching back at the seam once again. Once my scrunchie ends are fully secured by sewing in a full circle, I'm going to make a small circle with my thread, loop my thread through it, and pull it through to create a knot. Do this 2 or 3 times to make sure it's really secure. And just like that, after you clip your thread, your scrunchie is all done. Wasn't that super fast and easy? This is a great project for a beginner because it doesn't take a lot of fabric, it doesn't take a lot of time, and you can do it in any type of fabric that you want. I kind of think of scrunchies like Pringles. You never have just one. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel, Meghan Grace DIY. I hope you found this tutorial to be informative and easy to follow. If you'd like to get updates when I post new tutorials, please make sure you hit the subscribe and the notify button. And for more information, you can follow me at Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. And before you go, just a reminder that at 5,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away a sewing kit, so make sure you comment below. Happy sewing, everybody!